I think it is clear to believe in the power of ideas.
Fresh thinking to the Manhattan Institute.
Okay, in our second panel this morning, we're going to move from the overview of the pluses and minuses, complications, if you will, of public-private partnerships in transportation infrastructure, and we're going to get down to cases, and these are really reports from the front lines, people who are involved from the public sector side, from the private sector side, people who are really on the firing line of these situations: Chicago, Pennsylvania, and right here in New York, 2 leasing projects and 1 potential greenfield project, I guess. If you build a parallel span of the Tappan Zee, I guess that's a green bridge or something like that. And then we're going to have a discussion from our last speaker of the politics of all of this. We're going to start with, I don't know if we want to call you the architect of the Chicago Skyway and Midway Airport deals, but certainly involved. John Schmidt is a partner in the Chicago International Law Firm of Mayer Brown. He's a nationally recognized attorney named by American lawyers, one of the 27 all-stars of the 90s, of the American Bar, and by the National Law Journal. And in recent years, he's been focused heavily on public-private partnerships, including the Chicago Skyway Toll Bridge, and he was named Deal Maker of the Year by the American Lawyer. So, with no further ado, John Schmidt.
Good morning. It's a pleasure to be here and talk about these subjects in such a distinguished gathering. They are very interesting subjects and very timely ones. I thought I would focus on 2 transactions that I think go together. They both involve the city of Chicago, and they are both pioneering transactions. The first is the Chicago Skyway transaction, in which, as was alluded to earlier, early 2005, the city of Chicago leased the Chicago Skyway to a consortium of Cintra Concesiones of Spain and Macquarie Infrastructure for $1.8 billion. The first privatization of an existing American toll road or toll bridge. The other transaction I want to talk about is one that was just announced this week, and that is the privatization of Midway Airport. As many of you may know, the city announced on Tuesday of this week that it had received a winning bid of $2,521 million from a consortium that consists of the Vancouver Airport Authority, the Citigroup Infrastructure Fund, and John Hancock Insurance for a 99-year lease of Midway Airport, which will be the first privatization of a major American airport. That transaction has to be approved by the Chicago City Council, which is taking it up next Wednesday, and assuming it is approved, and I believe it will then be submitted for final approval by the Federal Aviation Administration, which is geared up and ready to go and eager to approve it before the end of the year. They have a 60-day mandatory statutory period before they can act, but I think if we can file the application by the end of next week, I think they expect to approve it before Christmas. So it will go forward as the first privatization of a major airport in this country. The other reason to talk about these together is that I think they really reflect basically the same fundamental thinking by the mayor and by those of us who have been his advisors in this area. And that is that out of these long-term leases, the city can get 2 essential things. The first is a higher quality of service for city residents and others who use these facilities. And the second is a lot more money for the city than it could get if it simply continued to operate the facilities itself. With respect to the quality of service, in the case of the Skyway, the effect of the lease was to shift operating control from the Chicago Department of Transportation, which I think is a competent public agency, to Cintra, which is the operating part of the Cintra Macquarie team, which is engaged in operating toll roads and toll bridges around the world, and I think brings to it the kind of skills and experience and the quality of personnel that a successful private business that focuses in a particular area brings to a project.